Feminism and femininity cannot coexist because they represent two complete opposites. Feminism is competitive, ruthless, anti-family, and anti-men. Femininity is supportive, warm, pro-family, and pro-men. So what's it gonna be, ladies? Because you can't have your cake and eat it too. I spent 4 years working at a male prison with some of the most violent offenders in New Jersey. I tutored inmates that were convicted as juveniles, so no matter the crime, in New Jersey, they could not serve life. So needless to say, I felt like this was a cause worth investing my time in. But after 4 years, I didn't just walk away knowing that a few more people on this planet could do calculus. I walked away with an invaluable understanding of male psychology. Listen, I'm not comparing every male brain to that of a convicted felon, but I will say I don't think a lot of these men were born bad. I realized that almost every single one of them shared something: the lack of a father figure. It doesn't matter how strong and independent their mother was. At the end of the day, nothing is as important to a young man's development as a strong father. If you take anything from this video, let it be this: our species needs the nuclear family to survive long term. So stop at nothing to demand paternal rights from our court systems, even if it doesn't affect you personally. I promise you it will one day in some way, shape, or form. What's up, my guys? Spring is here, and you know what that means. It's mating season, and you really think she's gonna wanna, with that wardrobe? Get it together. Here are 5 spring essentials every man needs. Number 1, a denim jacket. I don't care if you're stylistically inept. You can throw this jacket over anything and look like you know what you're doing. It just gives you that rugged vibe that all girls are drawn to. Number 2, shorts that don't come down past your knee. I don't wanna see a single one of you in baggy-ass basketball shorts. If your shorts are hitting your knees, I'm going to assume you haven't revamped your closet since your teenage years. Number 3, a non-dad belt. Guys, what's up with your belts looking like this? They're barely hanging on by a thread. Also, what's up with your belt never matching your outfit? I get it, you don't want a million belts laying around, but you can easily change this with an interchangeable belt like the Anson belt. And you can take the guesswork out of sizing because they're one size fits all. And with this track system, the notches are 1/4 inch apart, so you won't deal with stretched out belt holes. And right now you could get this box with 3 straps and 2 belt buckles that can be worn 6 different ways for under $100. Visit ansonbelt.com/Billy to get an awesome discount for a limited time. And yes, they are guaranteed to last a lifetime. Number 4, knit tees. If you wanted to think that you know a thing or two about current fashion trends, get yourself a knit tee. It gives a more dressed up, structured, and refined look than your basic cotton tee, and anyone can pull it off. And lastly, white leather sneakers. Not to be confused with canvas. White leather looks way cleaner, and you could essentially wear these with any outfit. You're welcome, boys. Social media is out to destroy men. It's no secret that men are visual creatures. And honestly, I see no problem with that. But the algorithms exploit this as a weakness to keep you on their platforms as long as possible. By only filling in your following tab with IG models, you're feeding into the exact system that's making men weak today. My guys, there's nothing wrong with having primal physical attraction to women, but use that primal desire to attract real girls in real life. To become the man that won't accept a girl at face value, and the man that women need to better themselves for. You have the ability to change your own algorithm. So engage with content that will actually serve you. Because at the end of the day, your presence on this earth is to fuel the betterment of society. So why did Will Smith hit Chris Rock? It's not because he's tough or an alpha that wanted to defend his woman. It's because he's your classic nice guy. A real man would remain stoic and reassure his woman that what he said was a joke. But Jada, like many women, lives for manipulation and found herself a nice guy who allows her emotions to drive his every action. Will no longer has a mind of his own. His life is completely attached to the emotional needs of Jada instead of the actual needs of a healthy relationship. He's happy when she's happy. He's sad when she's sad. So what happens when she loses her cool at the Oscars? He loses his cool at the Oscars. In that moment, Will needed to be an example of stability for his woman. Instead, he became a vessel for her emotional outrage. And that is the least attractive thing a man can be. A woman who can't look to her man for guidance will never have respect for him. So it's no wonder she cheated on him and continues to bully him. Listen up, because I'm about to give you your most powerful tool in a relationship. As men, it's the ability to walk away. Whether you're in the initial flirting stages or a year into a relationship, that girl will always be on her A game if she knows that you have a solid set of boundaries that you aren't willing to stray from. If a girl knows that your desperation will leave you settling for subpar behavior, she'll continue to test the limits. She'll maintain contact with exes, she'll continue to normalize her nightlife antics, and she'll do the bare minimum when it comes to being a supportive partner. So make it clear that a breach in your boundaries will have you walking out the door and thank me later when the power dynamic shifts in your favor and you experience respect for the first time in your life. The sexiest thing my boyfriend ever did was get laid off. Yes, you heard that correctly. I think when he told me, he expected a worried reaction, but instead, I gave him my 30 seconds of sympathy and followed that up with "wanna go get a Christmas tree?" My boyfriend has already proven his competency time and time again when it comes to his ability and desire to provide stability in my life. I knew he wasn't the type to react with self-pity or say, punching a wall. Instead, he had 6 interviews set up by that evening. And even though I never doubted that that would be the case, watching it happen in real time legitimately turned me on. Women aren't gold diggers. They're stability diggers. So if a woman is doubting your ability to succeed in any aspect of your life, take a step back and try to figure out whose fault that is. Because if she can't trust in your ability, she'll naturally embrace her masculine traits to provide herself with that protection, which will inevitably lead to a very shitty power dynamic. Women are more than happy to provide financially if that's what it takes. It's your ability to embrace adversity, as well as your level-headedness during tough times, that really matter. My guys, stop looking for a woman with your same interests. Her hobbies don't matter. Her favorite food doesn't matter. Where she likes to go on the weekends, what sport she plays, it doesn't matter. If you're truly interested in a woman, you need to learn her values. Look, when I met my boyfriend, we literally had nothing in common, but we did have the same outlook on life and could make each other laugh and smile. Our worldview, ideological views, our desire to start a family, it all aligned. When you have a shared understanding of what's right and wrong, and you enjoy each other's company, your interests will fall into place. I had no interest in chess, but now I sit on the couch and watch Gotham chess with him every night. He had no interest in plants, but now he's basically an aspiring botanist. So here's the moral of the story. Ask the hard questions. See if you agree with how you want to grow and how you want to parent children. Because your shared love of frozen yogurt sure as hell isn't going to get you very far. Let's talk about red pill rage. Look, I understand where it comes from. You thought for the longest time that if you treated women nicely, they would love you unconditionally. You thought if you gave them everything they ever wanted, it would be yours forever. And you may have even thought that your own masculinity was toxic for a second there. But now you've learned the truth. Nice guys really do finish last. Women are very conditional with how they love you. Your masculinity is not toxic. And that the worst of femininity can be just as toxic as the worst of masculinity. Now you're angry. You've been lied to. You feel betrayed. And I get it. Betrayal is tough to get past. But guess what? You shouldn't be angry. You should be happy, because now you know the truth. Now you know what women actually want. Now you know how to be a man worthy of female desire. And now you know how to protect yourself from the true dangers that exist in relationships between men and women. So drop the anger, forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, and stop attacking the other side the same way that they attacked you. Remember, a hero and a villain have the same painful backstory, but one uses it for good and the other uses it for evil. So continue to speak up to make sure young men and women do not suffer the same way you did, and not because you have disdain for your opponents. A lot of you have asked for my opinions on the corn industry. I've already addressed the ceiling fan side of the equation, but I haven't addressed the industry as a whole. Let me start by saying this. As much as I do place blame on individual choices and hold people accountable, I do understand, particularly in this day and age, how young women can be brainwashed into thinking sex work is real work, and how those exploiting them can justify the business under the guise of mutual engagement. If you can be convinced that sex is nothing more than a physical act, and that the market of sexually deprived men is free to be taken advantage of course you're not going to think you're doing anything wrong. You might even think that you're providing a service, but that's the same mindset of a hitman. And you don't see people stepping up to defend the morality of premeditated unalivings, do you? Ever since the feminist movement began and birth control became prevalent, sex has followed that slippery slope all the way to its logical conclusion, which is immoral people capitalizing on the weakest aspect of the average male's brain. The corn industry is essentially a dealer, and their clients are helpless men on an endless dopamine cycle. If this were gambling or drugs and alcohol, families and friends would be clamoring to intervene because of the potential mental, physical, and financial effects that were destined to occur. No one talks about corn this way, but if we want to solve our current crisis of masculinity, this would be a great place to start. So I overheard a conversation last night. It was a group of 4 girls at dinner, and one girl was telling her friends about her new fling. She described it as a casual, hookup type thing, but claimed he was super respectful, despite not wanting to commit. Her friend then asked why he was so scared to commit, and this was the moment that I had to physically restrain myself. Here's a shocker, girls. Men aren't scared of you. This guy's basically at an all-you-can-eat buffet, minus the fee. He has it made. If you want him to look at you as girlfriend material, start carrying yourself as that, because hookups won't make him love you.